Vision Care විශ්වාසනීය දැක්ම.
සාධාරණ මිලයි විශ්වාසවන්ත සේවාවයි.
Defense Secretary Hemasiri Fernando testified before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry for the 7th day yesterday. At the outset, the Additional Solicitor General at the Commission asked Fernando, despite him having served as the Defense Secretary, was his experience as a naval officer sufficient for the role? Fernando replied, "Since I served in the Navy, I thought it would be an additional qualification for the position, but now I believe it puts me at a disadvantage." To this, the Commission then asked Fernando, "What additional qualifications did you think this gave you? Did you think it was an additional qualification to get the post of Secretary of Defense?" The former Defense Secretary responded, "I consider it a great honor to have been a naval officer." Following this, the Commission asked Fernando, "What was your reason for not even attempting to telephone President Maithripala Sirisena regarding the intelligence warning received prior to the Easter attack?" Fernando replied, "I didn't call him and I must explain my reasons for that. 2 days after assuming the position, I went to meet the President to get his signature on some documents. At that time, I had received the first intelligence report from the State Intelligence Service, which I informed the President about. At that point, the President looked at me and said, 'Yes, that is right. Nilantha informed me about this.'" Continuing, Fernando added, "On a separate occasion when Nilantha gave me another intelligence report, I told the President about it when I went to meet him. But he told me again that Nilantha had already informed him. When I met Nilantha, I asked him, 'What is the meaning of this procedure?' To which Nilantha responded by saying that he informs the President about every piece of information he receives and also informs the Defense Secretary too. So I assumed that he must have already told the President about the attack warnings at the time. After the attacks, when I went to meet the President to hand over my resignation as Defense Secretary, the President was reading the newspapers at the time. I asked him then why Nilantha, who had informed him about everything else, failed to inform him about this information." Fernando added, "To this, the President didn't offer a response and continued to read his newspaper." Following this, the chairman of the commission asked Fernando, "When Nilantha gave you the intelligence warning on April 20th, did you not ask him then whether he had informed the President?" Fernando replied, "No, I didn't think to ask him that as I assumed he must have informed the President already. Otherwise, Nilantha could have told me to inform the President at that time. The other thing is that when foreign intelligence agencies receive such sensitive information, they do not use WhatsApp to inform anyone. Instead, intelligence officials meet and discuss these in person." The Additional Solicitor General then told the witness, "But isn't it the Defense Secretary's responsibility to inform the President?" Fernando replied, "Yes, it may have been my responsibility, but due to the alienation I experienced at the time, I wasn't that enthusiastic." To this, the chairman of the commission told Fernando, "You have mentioned this alleged alienation on many occasions. However, during the Sinhala New Year, you traveled all the way from the Talava to wish the President. Normally, during such visits, betel leaves are customarily presented, and all past animosity is put behind you. Did you not inform him of the intelligence warning at that point?" Fernando responded, "I had no animosity with him. I even presented a sheaf of betel leaves to him during that visit. Now, Nilantha had told everyone else that this was a big problem. But had he told me the same thing, I would have summoned him and asked him what the solution to the problem is. If I am to be held responsible for not informing the President, then I believe Nilantha must bear 3 times as much responsibility for the same." The Additional Solicitor General at the Commission then asked the witness, "Does this mean that you accept responsibility for this?" He replied, "I will not say that I am free of any responsibility. There is a collective responsibility here. There are other parties involved as well. If the Defense Secretary is expected to handle everything, then there would not be a need for an IGP, the Army Commander, members of the National Security Council, and a Defense Minister. Just a Defense Secretary should be sufficient." The chairman of the commission then asked Fernando, "Could all those deaths have been avoided if a curfew was imposed on 21st April? He responded, "I could not impose a curfew. Had the President ordered it, I could have. I never instructed the IGP that there was no need to impose a police curfew. If they realized that it was so important, why didn't the IGP, the Director of State Intelligence, and the Chief of National Intelligence meet me instead of sending me the information on WhatsApp?" To this, the Additional Solicitor General asked him, "Despite their shortcomings, didn't you still have the capacity to take some action as the Secretary of Defense?" Fernando replied, "Yes. When children make mistakes, it is the adults who should correct them. But State Intelligence Director Nilantha Jayawardena had very close ties to the President. Hence, I had no direct oversight over him." The witness was then asked by the Additional Solicitor General, "The President wasn't in the country when the information was received and when the attack took place. Usually when the father is not at home, the mother can still act. Why didn't you try to inform the Prime Minister?" The former Defense Secretary responded, "Such a thing was not possible. Due to the constitutional crisis, we never got an opportunity to meet the Prime Minister. We were caught between both sides. The president made a statement saying that the IGP and I should be held responsible for this. There was no justice, no investigation. We automatically became the accused. To this, the Additional Solicitor General asked the witness, "But you do realize that to practice politics, you still need a country, don't you?" Fernando replied, "The thing is, even though I knew that, these politicians failed to realize that."
ලීව ආයුෂ් කරාබු නැටි දන්තාලේපය ශක්තිමත් දත් දෙපලකට